Happy New Year 2022. Let's talk about the holidays in the city of Ptolus. I did one video before that talked about the importance of tracking time in Ptolus, and one of the reasons for that is because of the holidays that exist in Ptolus. Just like we have holidays in the real world, there are some really cool Ptolus holidays, and I want to show those to you, talk to you about them a little bit, and then also mention how they've played a role in my game. Let's switch over to my website here, ptol.us. You have to prove that you own the book or back the Kickstarter in some capacity, but then you are able to access the website. If you come up here to DM's reference, you'll find the Ptolus year calendar and weather. Obviously, you can also find all of this information in the actual Ptolus book. If you wanted to watch that video about tracking time, there's even a link to it right here. So let's scroll down to the Ptolus year. There's a really handy calendar. All of the holidays are red numbers, and then you can come over here and find those. They've got the days of the week too. They give us really cool names. I try to bring those in and actually reference those in my game just to make it feel a little more realistic. So we've got all the different holidays. You can read more about these. This isn't a video that I'm going to go into super detail about each one of them, but obviously they've got a New Year's Day just like we do. That's always going to be a big celebration. There's Godsday, the day of joining, which I've got a cool story about. Brightfather's Day, which is a huge celebration day. Harvest Festival, Festival of the Cold Moons, and Yearsend Day, obviously just like we celebrate. So first, I want to tell you something cool about the day of joining. If you come up here to the DM's reference, if you ever want to read my campaign journals, I've done 2 different videos on this so far, and just kind of tell you guys about my campaign. They're probably too long, maybe a little bit too boring to actually listen to, but that's okay. If you want to learn more about our campaign, that's a play-by-post, and it's been running since 2017. Pop on over and check those out. I did not plan this, but it was so cool how this worked out. As I mentioned, I've tracked every single day since we started our Ptolus campaign. And when we first started our Ptolus campaign, we actually had just 2 player characters. There was Vocath, and then we added Talon Ursulato. Cool story about him. He was actually a named NPC in the Ghostly Minstrel from the book. I spelled his name wrong as Talon instead of Terran, and it stuck. So we started out with just those 2 characters. Talon was basically a DMPC that I ran, but then my player who ran Vo also kind of ran him a little bit. So we kind of traded on that. In a play-by-post campaign, that's relatively easy to do. I've never seen anybody really do that in a real live campaign, but not difficult. The DM does some stuff, and then the player does some stuff. But with that, we later decided we wanted to increase the number of players, which actually only went up by 1. So there's 2 players and myself in our game. Went up by 1, but we actually introduced 3 new NPCs to the group. It just so happened, I cannot claim credit for being this smart, it just so happened that they actually all came together on the day of joining, which was it's really cool. It was just one of those fun serendipity moments, but that is actually what happened. So the day of joining is a day of celebration joining. It's one of the biggest days for marriage and stuff like that in the city of Ptolus, and that was just really cool that happened to turn out that way. Brightfather's Day I'm also excited about because it is coming up in my game. If you visit this Vo's campaign notes, you can scroll all the way down to the bottom here. You'll see we are in the middle right now in the middle of the House Cath party. We'll be doing some updates about that. And so we are moving into Blessing, and there is going to be the Brightfather's Day celebration in just about 2 weeks from where I am right at this moment. Again, that's really exciting because I'm going to start alluding to in the game all of the stuff that's going on, everything that's happening, the preparation that's coming in to this awesome, huge festival. And so that's just another way for you guys to make this city seem much more real to your characters. I've also got, I can't share spoilers here yet, some other plans for maybe something that's going to happen on Brightfather's Day. You can also notice in that chart that they've got weather. Here is the way that I handle weather, and I figured this is a little tidbit that might help some of you guys as well. If you look at the weather chart, what you'll see here is you can see the month, which, as if you saw from before, I'm on the last day of growth going into the first day of blessing currently in our campaign. So you can see here there's growth and blessing. What I like to do is just use a random number generator, and I will just say give me a random number between 55 and 73, and then that tells me what the temperature is. What I will then do is come over here, since this is normally around 30, right? Again, I'll use a random number. If any of you have a D30, that's a cool little thing to have. That does exist. But you can also, if it's 31 days in the month, like what growth is, you can also just say, give me a random number between 1 and 31. What I do with that then is if it falls between 1 to 12, I say, okay, it's a clear day. If it falls between, what that would be 13 to 22, forgive my math, then I say it's partly cloudy. And if it's 9 cloudy, then I will also roll to see if there's precipitation, which basically I just kind of treat as a 50-50 chance. Same thing with wind speed. I will also just roll to see whatever the wind speed is, right? Something I haven't done yet, but I'm really looking forward to doing is basically I just plan on using a D10 or a D12. So if it caps at 9 or caps at 10, I'll use a D10 or a D12. And what I figured would be fun is like on the times when it's not where there's no 11 or 12 in here, it'd be really fun to say, hey, guess what? Natural disasters happen. Maybe there is like a mild hurricane in the Bay of Ptolus, or maybe there's a tornado outside the city. Maybe there's a tornado inside the city. And since it's Ptolus, you never know. You could use that and play it up as like an unnatural disaster created by some thing gone wrong, right? You could have a tornado in the middle of Ptolus because a wizard decided to summon an air elemental that he couldn't control, and now all of a sudden you have an unnatural tornado. So let me know in the comments what you guys are planning on doing or what you've already done with holidays in Ptolus. I hope you guys had an awesome holiday. We're really hoping 2022 is better than the past 2 years have been, although we'll see what happens. All in all, hopefully you get to enjoy your game in the city of Ptolus. Again, join our Discord channel. There's a link down below because we have some awesome conversations in there, really, folks. I'm one narrator, and there's dozens more narrators in that Discord channel, and they are constantly coming up with great ideas. It's just a wonderful place to have where you can bounce ideas off other people and see different things and stuff like that. So let us know in Discord or just in the comments if you're planning on using the holidays, how you use them, if you've done any fun weather stuff. We always love, hearing what you're doing because it just inspires the rest of us. So again, I stole this from a guy who emailed me, but I've got to keep using this. I absolutely love it. It's may you always stay out of the shadow of the spire. Everybody have an awesome day and an awesome new year.